In this lesson, we're going to begin talking about particle effects. All right, so now that we've talked about creating an atmosphere with light and also creating an atmosphere with sound, we can also do it with particle effects. Now, particle effects can be a really exciting portion of Unreal Engine 4. I enjoy it quite a bit. You can create all kinds of amazing things with particles using the Cascade system inside of Unreal Engine 4. Now, Cascade is the effects editor right here inside of Unreal Engine 4. And so to get started with it, we need to create a new particle system. So to do this, let's go ahead and create a new folder. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click on the game folder, say new folder. Let's call this DT_effects. Okay, and we'll double-click on that, or just select it, and then we'll say new, and then particle system. Okay, now we'll give this a name. We'll just call this, let's say, PS_, let's do dust. Okay, we'll make it pretty simple. So with that, we can double-click on that item, and this will bring up Cascade. Let's go ahead and left-click on this tab, and let's drag it up here at the top. And you can see here that we have a new editor, and it's pretty familiar. We have the menu bar at the top. Again, the menu bar will give you access to a lot of the common commands that you'll find in the editor itself. We have the toolbar here at the top, which will give us access to, very quick access to a lot of the main functions and tools using the Cascade editor. And then we have our details panel, which is going to show us all of our properties here. And then we have our emitters. This is going to show us all of the different emitters that we have in a particle system. And then below the emitters, we have all these modules, okay, which make up the particle emitter. Okay. And then we have our curve editor. Now there's one other window that's missing here, and let's go ahead and bring it up. Let's go to Window and then show Viewport. The viewport is going to give you a preview of what your particle system looks like. So let me go ahead and just bring that down a little bit. And we may have to make some room as we begin this process. We may have to make the toolbar a little bit smaller or something like that if we can. It doesn't look like we can resize that, but that's okay. So here you can see that we have a default particle system. It's playing. We've got these little crosses that are playing here, and all of this is a behavior, okay, the particle system, okay, and it's all being derived from the particle emitter and these modules that will modify the behavior of the particle system. So first thing is first, how do we access the options of the particle system? You can do that by left-clicking out here in this empty space, and you'll see in your details panel all of the options that you can change about the particle system as a whole. So these are what we would consider the global options of that. Okay, so you can set things up like the delay. If you don't want this to play for a certain amount of time once it's been activated, you can set up positions and occlusions, but most of the time we'll leave this just the way it is. Now you'll also have the ability of changing LODs, and that's another topic for another day. So usually everything in here we'll just leave as default. Now moving on to the particle emitter, if you left click right here at the top, the particle emitter is going to show you a preview of what that material looks like. Okay, so what is the material that's on this? You have a couple of options like soloing the emitter. So if we have multiple emitters that create this particle system, we can actually solo each one. We can turn an emitter off. Notice that it's kind of given us this pattern letting us know that that is turned off, and then also this icon, of course. And then we can change the way it's previewed. So we can preview it as dots, as ticks. We could turn it off with the light itself, and then we can turn it off completely. But normally I like to just show the preview here. Now the modules below, we have a few of these modules that are very helpful, and you'll find them in most of all of your particle systems, but there are going to be a couple that are absolutely needed. For example, required. You can't get rid of this. It has to be in there. And so you can take a look at your required module, whenever you select that, you can see what it gives us in the details. And it shows us the emitter options with the material, the emitter's origin, its rotation, screen alignment. All of these are very, very important options here for this. So normally, to start out, the only thing that we're really worried about is the material. How do we want this to look? So it's important to remember that particle systems are derived of two parts, the material and then the behavior, okay, or the particle system. So the material, let's go ahead and find a material that we want to use here, and I already have one prepared. If we go to DT_materials and you scroll down, you should find one that is M_dust. Go ahead and select that, and then we'll go ahead and assign that, and here we go. So we get this kind of soft material. Now it kind of looks like it's steam or smoke or something like that. It's very blurry. You know, we're not finished with this. It's still got that default behavior, and we need to modify that. And so before we begin modifying anything, I like to go ahead and bring in the particle system as it is, and I like to bring that into the scene just so I can see how that is going to look inside the scene itself, trying to get the size correct and everything. So we'll go ahead and we'll save the particle system, then we'll go outside into the level editor, and then we'll go to the effects folder and just simply drag and drop that particle system. You'll see we get a new icon, and you can see here that we are emitting these particles in our level. Now as we change this, it will begin to change inside the level as well. So in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about modifying the behavior through our modules. So we'll get into that next.